So this is one for the whole team this week. What do you really think about leadership? What do you believe leadership is? Is it about being in charge, about making the decisions, about giving out instructions? Or is it something much deeper, something that you practice, not something that you own? Welcome to Great Boss Weekly. This is where we unpack what it really takes to lead in a modern dental practice. Now this week we're challenging the biggest leadership myths, redefining what makes someone a true leader and exploring how you can lead from anywhere in the team, not just from the top. So let's start today with a simple idea that a title doesn't necessarily make you into a leader. And it's one of the biggest myths that I hear, that leadership is about command, it's about being the boss, it's about having answers, it's about giving instructions to people. But that version of leadership, I think it's pretty outdated, it's unhelpful, and it's certainly going to be holding your team back. So let's take a look first at what doesn't make you a leader. Well, the first thing is a title doesn't make you a leader. I know that you would have worked with people who had a grandiose title, were in a position of leadership apparently because of their title, but they weren't actually a leader. They weren't people that were inspiring others to action. Being the loudest person in the room doesn't make you a leader. A lot of people think that being a leader means you have to be extrovert and loud and give big speeches. And while that's certainly one of the aspects of being a leader, and it's a great trait to have if you've got it, if you're trying to inspire people in that kind of way, you don't need to be a loud person. And then being the boss, being the actual person, the decision maker, the person that's in that position of authority, with the final say on what happens, none of that actually automatically makes you a leader, because leadership isn't about position, it's about influence. And influence is something that we earn through character, through clarity, through consistency, and through caring about our people. So let's bust some leadership myths. Things I often get asked. Well, isn't leadership just for the boss? Isn't it just about being extroverted? Doesn't it just mean being in charge? Well, no, actually it doesn't, because introverts can be brilliant leaders. Some of the greatest leaders we've seen have been very much an introverted person. You don't need to be at the top of the hierarchy in order to be a leader, in order to lead. You can lead from anywhere in the organisation. And we've seen people with all the credentials, all the titles, and no leadership presence at all. And we've also seen junior staff, junior people considered on our team, lead through really big challenges, through crises and through culture shifts. And my favourite person to talk about when I talk about this stuff is my friend Inno. Now, Inno joined our team as a junior administrator, but from the very beginning he showed that he had leadership qualities. He owned his responsibilities and he helped other people to achieve what they could. And that for me is the mark of a true leader. Eventually he became our program director, but his leadership started long before the job title ever arrived. Okay, so let's look at what does make you a leader. Let's break it down. Now, leadership today, I think more than ever, isn't about giving orders. It is about being submissive. Yes, leaders need to submit as well to the vision, to the plan, to the goal that you've got. It's about championing that vision that you've got for the team, for the future, where it is you're trying to get to. It's about keeping the vision alive and coming into work every morning and pointing people towards that horizon that you've got in your vision for your business. It's helping people to achieve things and to believe that they can achieve a lot more than they think they can. One of the greatest people that I ever worked with really saw something in me, an ability to lead, an ability to achieve things that I didn't think was there, but they drew it out of me, and that's a real strong indicator of a great leader. Great leaders support other people. They encourage people to grow, but they also hold people to account. But they do it with clarity. So we don't go into a situation or an employment or anything without any doubt that we are going to be held to account, and we are going to get feedback, and I'm going to make it very, very clear to you what's expected, and I'm going to help you to see when you step outside of that you've done that and how you can improve. So you don't need to be a dragon in order to be an effective leader. In fact, nowadays, effective leadership is about clarity and kindness. Now, it doesn't mean that it's soft. And then today's generations. Today's generations are not inspired by because I said so. That whole do as I say, not as I do, that kind of thing's out the window. What they want is they want clarity, they want care, and they want growth. They want to know the why. They want to feel connected to what it is that you're trying to achieve. And that's why the old command and control model is crumbling. It might have worked when expectations were different, but it was never leadership. It was getting people to comply. And compliance fades. It doesn't last for long. You only, if you've got teenagers, you'll know about this. People will comply, but they won't necessarily change. But if you can get people to commit, then that really sticks. So I want to talk about servant leadership. And servant leadership is a concept that's been around for a very long time, and it's this whole idea that actually to be a leader you need to serve the people that you work for. And Gary Vaynerchuk has talked a lot about this recently, that you work for your team, they don't work for you. And what we mean by that is that even where it's important that discipline happens, like in the military, actually servant leadership really, really works. And if you read Simon Sinek's book Leaders Eat Last, it's a must read, and it's based on a lot of his conversations and his relationships with senior figures in the American military. And it shows that even in the military, where discipline and command structures are non-negotiable because of, we need soldiers to do what they're asked to do, they very much embrace this concept of servant leadership. Senior commanders understand that care, loyalty, and protecting your team builds a much stronger, more effective unit. So if you think that servant leadership is soft, then think again, because it's actually a very strong, strategic and proven way of leading. And then let's think about elite sport. What does a captain or a coach want in a team? Well, they want a team of leaders. People who take responsibility, people who step up, who serve the goal of winning the game, and they support each other in that. You don't want one ball hog that's hanging on to everything. You want leaders all over the pitch. You want people that are going to take responsibility when things go wrong, that are going to put an arm around the shoulder of somebody that's just made a mistake. You want people that are going to be resilient in the face of challenge. So what's your view of leadership? Is it about being in charge, or is it about pointing to the vision and empowering your team to move towards it? Because we need people to recognise that having a title doesn't make you a leader, and actually you can lead from anywhere in the organisation. So here's your challenge for this week. Look beyond the job titles, spot the real leaders in your team and start being one yourself, wherever you sit in the org chart, because the best teams are made up of leaders who serve, who support and point everybody towards a shared vision. And that's how you build a brilliant culture, and it starts with you. So like, subscribe, and if you're ready to grow your leadership skills and build a team that leads with you, not just works for you, then check out the Great Boss Bootcamp, great-boss.com. Because nobody taught you to be a great boss, but you can learn and you can help other people to do the same.